Live. Hello, everyone. It's Jordan from Cloud Underground again today on this lovely Monday afternoon. I hope everybody is having a really great day today. I am here again to talk a little bit about the Underground Nexus and some of the tools in it, and I think I am going to play a little bit of Terraria after that, and so yeah, it's kind of the normal stream schedule. So let me get my chats going and again to talk a little bit make sure my volumes are all correct. Okay. Cool. All right, so for those of you who are joining in LinkedIn, I should be able to watch those chats come in and answer any questions that you have or whatever. So feel free to participate. If I'm a little slow getting to you, just yeah, I apologize. I'm kind of juggling a couple things here, but I should see the comments. Sometimes I have to refresh LinkedIn, which is sometimes why I miss things for a little bit. But yeah, I should be checking things out. I see Michael in, so thank you for being here. And yeah, I guess today the first thing I'd like to talk about is, well, just to remind you of one of our newest products that we've created, which is the Zero Trust Cockpit. It's basically a Webtop environment that has all the tools to make a stream like the one that I'm doing right now. So we have OBS Studio in here, which you can use to stream or make recordings and demos and things like that. We've got Kden for editing any videos you make, VLC player for watching anything. So yeah, it's a really cool thing, and it's available to anybody. So the first thing you have to do is get an Underground Nexus instance going, and the best place to learn how to do that is at GitHub. So if you go to github.com /underground-ops/underground-nexus, you will get to this page here, and it is the home page for the Underground Nexus and GitHub that tells you how to install everything and what the Underground Nexus is all about, and how to use the tools that are in it. So it's a really good resource to check out if you are trying to get an Underground Nexus instance going. Once you have an Underground Nexus instance going, then to figure out how to get a Zero Trust Cockpit going, you would go to our website and then get the Cloud Jitsu program, and it describes in the Cloud Jitsu program how to deploy a Zero Trust Cockpit. So it's super cool stuff. So yeah, that's kind of one of the newest things that we've released. It does cost 24 hours to do this course, or $24. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. It costs $24 to do this course, but you can get it for free if you join us in our DevSecOps Dojo. So at Cloud Underground, we run the DevSecOps Dojo, which is our Discord server where our community lives, and you can go and talk to people and learn all about our products and what we do. The other big thing that's coming up that I want to mention is this DevSecOps 101 live workshop and virtual hackathon. So that's coming in the end of June. And it's basically a place where we're going to talk about, some of the tools that we have and how to use them. And there's going to be a number of professionals there that you can collaborate with and network with. And then we're going to have a hackathon where people are going to be able to try and best each other in basically a virtual hacking world. So that's June 24th, and spots are limited. So please go to our website and go to this link here at DevSecOps 101 live workshop and virtual hackathon to learn more about that. So super cool stuff. I hope everybody gets the chance to check it out. Because it's going to be really fun, I think. And again, that's June 24th, so coming up. So that's kind of the announcements and stuff that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into the tool I wanted to talk a little bit about today, which is Visual Studio Code. So we have Visual Studio Code server built into every Underground Nexus. And if you deploy the full version, you open up a Underground Nexus Webtop. So that's where I am right here. You can see that. And you open up a Firefox web browser. Let's just go home. You will get to this page right here, which is underground-ops.me. This is all hosted in the Underground Nexus. It takes it a moment typically to load, and you have to do all that. But yeah, then once it loads up, this is the home page that you get to, and you can get to Visual Studio Code from here. I believe it's in. So this is one of the links to Visual Studio Code browser, and then the other way to get there is using this button up here, because we've got a bunch of buttons that are built into the Firefox web browser in an typical underground Nexus deployment. So we can click on this link, or we can click this guy, and that'll take us to Visual Studio Code. So this is the first time, this is a brand new instance of the Underground Nexus. So this is the first time I've entered it, and you can see it's kind of just blank right now. So the first thing that we need to get a workspace set up. So the way that we do that is by clicking this, and we'll open a folder, and we'll open workspace, and we'll click. So this is /config/workplace. We'll click space, like open and set up for us. So now we've got a workspace here, and once you have your workspace set up, if you go to help and then the welcome, this is the welcome screen you can see right here, and we've got a couple options, so we can create a new file here. So the whole, I guess I didn't really introduce what Visual Studio Code is all about. So Visual Studio Code is a program that essentially allows you to have a very nice coding sandbox where it will color code things and make things easy to see in terms of what you're looking at in your code. It's got a bunch of tools and extensions and plugins that allow you to do all kinds of really cool things, and test code, make sure it works, test for bugs, and yeah, it just generally gets stuff going. So it's a really cool tool if you're into coding. My background is not coding, so it's not something I'm as familiar with as I'd like to be, but yeah, Visual Studio Code is a great way to start getting into coding and play around with things. So I just want to show you a little bit of what it looks like. So the first thing I'm going to do too is if we go to our command palette, that opens up this little box here, and it's got all these commands in it. So there's a ton of things that are just like built into Visual Studio Code. You can see there's also key shortcuts to a number of these different commands, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff here. So if we type in, I'd like to actually get a dark version of this Visual Studio Code going. So I'm going to go to my command palette and type dark, and this brings up the preferences toggle between light and dark themes. So we'll do that. So now we're into dark theme mode, which is a little more pleasing to the eyes, I think. So that's a cool thing. So a lot of the commands that are in Visual Studio Code you can find in this command palette. So that's a super useful thing to know about. If we just take a little bit of a tour of what we're looking at here in Visual Studio Code, obviously we're in our web browser, so this stuff is the browser. This is the basically options for Visual Studio Code. So you got your typical file options where you can do all this stuff, save your file, open, yada yada. We've got our edit options, our selection options for selecting things in our code, a bunch of viewing options. We've got go options for, I don't know, just like getting to all these different places. You get the point. So run options, we got terminal options, and then help. And help is useful because we can get to our welcome page, or again, we can get that show all commands. That does the same thing as pressing the command palette here. So that can be super useful. So that's what our options are there. Then we have, our Explorer, which is what we're looking at right now, where you kind of can look at your workspace and what you've got going on this machine. We can do a search if we want to search for something. This is our source control, which we'd have to basically initiate a repository. So here in our start menu, again, we've got new file, we've got open file, and then we can clone a whole repository if we want to. And basically you would type in the URL for the repository that you wanted to clone. But you have to be logged into GitHub and stuff for that to work. So just be aware of that. I'm going to check my LinkedIn real quick and make sure that I'm not missing anything here. But it looks like I'm not, so that's good. So yeah, for those in LinkedIn, feel free to ask questions or whatever. So yeah, so that's the source control page. Then we've got a run and debug. We can click that and we can run and debug code. I think we generally have to have some sort of run file set up and like configuration for that. And then there's the extensions button, which is where we would find all of the extensions for Visual Studio Code, which there's many, many, many of. So if, like, we open up the popular tab, and then we've got Python is like the top one, GitHub, a bunch of others. Let's install Python real quick because that's one of the things that I'm kind of curious about looking at. So we'll look at some Python code here in a few minutes. So we would just click install, just as easy as that to get installing Python or the Python extension. So that's pretty cool and pretty easy. It's taking it a sec to download and install, but it's good now. So now it's installed and we can start using the Python extension, which I think is adding this little testing button for configuring Python tests and doing stuff like that. So anyway, so that's kind of the basic layout of Visual Studio Code. Then of course we've got accounts. I'm not signed in, so you'd have to sign in to mess with any of that stuff, I think. And then we have our options button down here where you can have your themes and snippet settings, get that command palette again. So yeah, that's kind of the basic layout of Visual Studio Code. So let's save a file in here and like open up a file and see what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is grab, and this is another learning opportunity because I'd like to show you guys how to paste things from like the web browser on, I mean, if you have an underground Nexus set up, usually you have a server that's kind of running it, and then you'll oftentimes access it from a different machine. You can access it from the server itself if you want to, depending on how your server is set up. But typically you're going to be accessing it from another computer, basically. And so if you are using that other machine and you want to paste something into your underground Nexus instance from a different web page, there's a specific procedure for doing that, because your underground Nexus instance doesn't know what is going on the clipboard of the machine that you're interacting with it through. So you have to manually kind of add things to its clipboard. So let's get rid of that. So let's create a new file. So let's go File, let's create a new file. And it's going to be a Docker file. So I'm just going to call it Docker file, and I'm going to press Enter. And that's going to be in Workspace, so that's all good. We'll create that file and click OK. So now we have our Docker file here, and we can go to, let's go to our GitHub page. And so this is the Underground Nexus. So let's take a look. Here we have our Docker file for the Underground Nexus, and it's a big old file. So let's take this and let's put it into Visual Studio Code so we can look at it and play with it a bit. And let me just also check and make sure I'm not missing anything. It looks like we're all good. Okay, so to copy out of GitHub, we use this little copy raw file button. So we'll click that. Now let's go back to our Webtop environment. Okay, so this is our Webtop environment. So in our Webtop environment, you'll have this little like tabby thing on your browser, and it's hide and show the control bar. So if we show it, we want to show it, right? We show it, we have a number of different options, so we can go full screen with our Webtop if we want. I think we can send keys to it. set up a couple different modes. It's got a game cursor mode if you need your cursor to be trapped or whatever. Settings, I'm not going to mess with any of that, but the clipboard is what I want to look at. So if we click on clipboard, okay, so that was the last thing that was in my clipboard. So this is how we can copy and paste from outside of the underground Nexus to inside of it. So we copied that GitHub file from GitHub here, or a Docker file, excuse me, from our GitHub here, and then we went over here to our underground Nexus, and then we can paste inside this clipboard. So I'm going to paste the Docker file in the clipboard, and you can see we've got it here. I mean, it's a big file, so you can't really see it all, but I'll just assume it's all here. And then we can hide that, and then we can, well, so it doesn't give me the option when I right click to do it, so I'm just going to do a Control V, and then there it is. The contents of our clipboard just got pasted in this file. So that is a way to move or to copy and paste from outside of the underground Nexus and get something inside of it. So just a good thing to know. And then I'm going to go to my clipboard, and I'm just going to clear that. We don't need all of this in here. So yeah, so here we go. Here we've got our Docker file. This is what builds the underground Nexus, and we are viewing it here in Visual Studio Code. You can see Visual Studio Code. I think because we named it Docker file, it knew that this was going to be a Docker file, so it automatically, it has the Docker logo and stuff associated with it, and it is like coloring things the correct way and everything. So anyway, yeah, so that's how you could get a file in Visual Studio Code, and then you could, start messing with it and do whatever you need to do. I'm not going to mess with it too much. Let's see here. And then we can just, file save, and then we can close it, and now, we go to our workspace, and we can see we've got that Docker file here, right? And we can open it anytime we want. So let's close that. Let's look at another file. Let's new file. This time I'm going to make a file that doesn't have an extension so that Visual Studio Code doesn't automatically know what it's looking at, and we'll just see if it can automatically figure it out. So we're going to call this fan control because it's going to be a fan control script. So it's putting it in workspace. That's great. So we'll click OK. Okay, so now we got fan control, and right now it's just a text file, I believe is what it's seeing it as, because we didn't specify anything. But now I'm going to go grab this fan control file. This is from my own repository for basically setting up a custom fan curve for a Raspberry Pi. So let's copy this script. So it's a Python script. And we'll go over to Visual Studio Code again. Okay, now again, I'm going to have to use my keyboard or my clipboard here using Chasm. So we'll paste it in. So now that code should be in here. Now we can hide this again. We can Control Paste. All right, and now we've got our fan control script. And look at how Visual Studio recognizes that this is a Python script. And it is, well, I mean, it's just recognized it as such. So it's like coloring it correctly and using the correct syntax and stuff. So yeah, super cool stuff. Oh yeah, and then down here is where it would be saying any like errors or things that we need to be cautious about in the script, but it looks like it's happy enough with it. I actually do know that this script works because I've used it before. So yeah, that's that. So this is a Python script, and we could, mess with it, do whatever we need to do. You can see comments are coming in green, and then, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. And then we can save this file again. Oh, we can't save it. Why can't I save it? There we go. I think it was because I wasn't clicked on it or something. And we can exit it, and now we have both our Docker file and our fan control script. And here in our workspace, we can look at them both really easily, play with them both. Again, Visual Studio Code knows that it can kind of detect what kind of file you're working with, so that's super cool. I'm curious about this. Well, I'm not going to mess with the configuration and stuff. right now. But that's just, you know, kind of a very rough and dirty like intro to Visual Studio Code, very high level, but super cool stuff. You can do a lot with it. Obviously, we can also manage our files here. You know, we can create new folders. We can create new files, and then you know, we could use like the S3 bucket to move all these files around and move them to different systems and do all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, the Underground Nexus, another tool in the quiver. It's got a whole lot of tools, so you know, it's hard to know them all. Like very, I've been working through them too with everybody else, so because there's a lot here, but it's super cool stuff, and yeah, jump in, like go download Underground Nexus on, you know, a system that you have sitting around that isn't doing anything. This particular instance is running on an old computer I built in 2013 that has a 4-core, 8-thread processor and 8 gigabytes of RAM. And the 8 gigabytes of RAM, I think, does limit the system a little bit, but you can see, yeah, I mean, it's running pretty darn well. You know, we got Visual Studio Code going. We've got all these other tools. You know, we've got Pi-hole, Portainer, all this stuff. So, super cool stuff. And so, yeah, I encourage you to download the Underground Nexus, get it running, and then check out Visual Studio Code and start playing around with it. It obviously is a deep program you can do a whole lot with, especially if you start working with those extensions and plugins. And Visual Studio Code has a lot of really great documentation, so I'd encourage you to go check that out, because you know, we oftentimes rely on a lot of these other tools documentation because we can't rewrite everything ourselves. You know, it's just, first of all, not practical, and second of all, wouldn't really make sense because a lot of the documentation that these companies have out there is really, really good. Not all of it, but a lot of it is. So yeah, check it out. And learn about Visual Studio Code. It's really awesome stuff. I think I'm gonna kind of wrap up talking about the Underground Nexus a little bit with that. I will say, you know, go to our website if you're curious about Cloud Underground and some of the other like services that we offer. We also has this academy where, you know, we basically teach a lot of the concepts that you need to do, like to build the things that we've built. And so you can replicate a lot of what we do by following these courses or that we offer people. And I know a lot of them are kind of expensive, but they're worth it. There's a lot of really great information in them. And if you're not sure about whether or not, you know, this is right for you, or one of these products would be a good fit or something that would be useful to you, then I encourage you to check out the Cloud Jitsu program, because it's only $24. That's the full price version of it. It's got a ton of information. You will know after going through that whether or not what we do is interesting to you and helpful to you, and whether or not any of those other courses that we offer are gonna be value or have value to you. And if $24 is too much of a price tag to get in and check it out and see if it's worth it, that's totally cool. Join our DevSecOps dojo and ask us for a free code in there, and we will hook you up. So yeah, check out all that stuff. And then again, I want to remind you that we've got the DevSecOps 101 live workshop and virtual hackathon going on June 20th. Check that out and learn about that stuff, because it's really awesome stuff, and it's going to be a really fun time and give you opportunity to network, etc., etc. So I think that should be really I mean, a great thing for anybody who shows up, basically. So with that, I am going to just briefly play a little bit of Terraria. I'm not gonna stay in it for super long or anything, but I like to play Terraria because it really shows off kind of what the Underground Nexus is capable of. So let me get it going and change my scene. And let me check and see if I missed anything in LinkedIn, but I don't think I have. It seems like yeah, everybody's just hanging out, and hopefully you're all enjoying the presentation. I know it's pretty quick and dirty. You know, these demos, I think we want to kind of keep them brief so that people can digest them really easily, and then, you know, you can tune in or out of Terraria depending on whether or not that's something that's interesting to you. But I do think it's informative for just seeing how well the underground Nexus can handle a server like this. So the other thing I'm going to do, is it's kind of done, you know, blabbing a ton, is I'm going to turn on our music streaming radio station. So if you go to YouTube and you search Cloud Underground, you will find our YouTube channel. And on our YouTube channel, you should be able to find our 24-hour live music stream, like radio station, that we run there. And so if you like any of the music that you're about to hear, then that's where you can go check it out. And at the bottom of the stream, it does tell you where you like what the band is and the song, and where you can go to get more music from those guys. So it's pretty cool. So here's the music stream. All right, and here's our main menu of Terraria. Let me let's make sure everything's looking good. Think so. See if I'm missing anything in my LinkedIn. But I think we're good. Okay. So we do multiplayer and we join via IP. Use Yasna. And let me put my password in. All right. And so here is Terraria. And so this is a Terraria server that is running in its own Webtop. I built a Webtop for just the server itself, but the Webtop is running in the Underground Nexus. So if you go to the Underground Nexus portainer that, you know, is running this particular instance, you can that's where you go to manage this Terraria server. And I mean, yeah, so this is running in a Docker container on actually a piece of ARM hardware. It's running on an NVIDIA AGX Jetson Xavier, so it is a powerful piece of hardware, and I think that kind of comes through in the stream. Like, it runs the server super well. I have very little lag. You know, it's very performant. Really cool stuff, and it's super flexible. So, you know, like, again, go check out the Underground Nexus, spin one up, and then spin up a container and see what you can put in it. Because yeah, it's super flexible and you can do a lot with it. So, like I said, I don't want to stay in Terraria too long today, probably. I think I'm just going to defeat a boss or two. So I think I might just fight the Old One's army. And maybe I'll fight, well, we'll fight the Aya Cthulhu and the Old One's army at once. Should be kind of fun. That'll get a lot of things kind of loaded on screen, so you can kind of see how well the game plays when there's like a lot of different elements that it's having to manage. All right. I think the other thing I'd like to say about our music stream is that this is all open licensed music, so it's all DMCA free. So if you have a stream or something, you should be able to play this as long as it's not for commercial purposes. A lot of the music that we have on here, well, yeah, anyway, go check it out. It's super cool stuff. And it's free to use for whoever, since it's just on YouTube. So I am buying an Eternia crystal from this guy. And then I'm gonna summon the Old One's army. And we do that by finding that crystal I just bought. Put it there. And we do this. Oh yeah, and then we eat this to get the Eye of Cthulhu summoned. And I am going to do this again. I can't summon two of them? I thought I could summon two, but whatever, that's fine. Ooh, it's a lot to manage here. Stupid Eye of Cthulhu. Yeah, we'll see how I do with this. I gotta try and defeat the Eye of Cthulhu as quickly as possible because the old one's army is pretty easy in the first few waves, but it gets fairly difficult in the later ones. For those who have watched this stream before, you've probably seen me fight the old one's army. I do like it as a good demo because it kind of gets so much stuff on screen. And then let's get that next wave going. Cthulhu. Boy, I'm gonna defeat Cthulhu before we even get through the second wave. Let me see. I'm gonna try and I'll try not to feed him actually. That'll be my challenge, is to fight around the Eye of Cthulhu until like wave 4 maybe or something. Really not a lot for me to do over here because my auto turrets are kind of taking care of that stuff. But yeah, you can see, I mean, this game's got a number of assets loaded and it's not bothered in the least by it. Alright, let me see. I want to get to wave 4 with the Eye of Cthulhu still going. He's really beat up though. Oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Let's get this next wave going. Alright. Haha. Can I get through a whole wave without killing the Eye of Cthulhu? Because he's pretty fragile right now. I don't know. We'll see. I'll use the scepter. That way I can avoid hitting him better, I think. I'm going to have to get another server going that's got expert mode turned on. Because Terraria can be a much more challenging game if you want it to be. They have a couple of, I think they have expert and nightmare modes if I remember correctly. But I might be wrong on that front. Nightmare mode, I might be confusing that with something else. Alright, I did it. I got through wave 3. Alright, we made it to wave 4. Alright, Eye of Cthulhu, I'm not... You're just gonna have to die probably now. Oh, we got a wyvern that escaped this other side over here. My defenses on that side are starting to get overwhelmed. Ah! Alright. This is really hard to do if you don't have defenses up, but the defenses make it a lot easier. I've lost the power of creation. Oh, interesting. So they must do that so you can't, like, Fortnite your way through this, essentially. Build crazy stuff that allows you to survive these guys. These wyverns are so frustrating. Leave my thing alone, wyverns! So you don't have to get all the way through wave 5 before the boss shows up. And the boss, who is currently fighting through all this crap, is this guy on this rug right here. He's pretty easy to take down. Bang! Just that easy. Whoa. Wait, what? That didn't defeat him? I'm confused. Where'd he go? Alright. That ought to do it. And the old one has been defeated again. That easy! And we were fighting Aya Cthulhu too. So yeah. Pretty cool stuff, and the server handled it no problem, as you can see. And everything's working good. Well, I kind of want to fight another boss of some sort. Ooh. But I'm not sure who. Because I think I've fought all the bosses already that are pre-hard mode. That's around each page, flipping through the surface, I erase, pitching to the person I create, and realize that's only myself and my thoughts. They molded a moment of help of self-care, a bit of mind holding itself. I would like to fight that one Cyclops boss again. He was pretty tough. See if I can actually see if I can beat 3 bosses at once, right? Why not? So I keep my food is in here. So I'm gonna take one of these. I'm gonna take one of these. And I better clear out my inventory slightly too. Time just passed, then I find I crash to meet my match and to feed my past, cause the creep up fast to touch the dove in the mold and work you could blow up. Give me like 1,000 of these. That's good enough. Good to have a little stone around, you know. Alright, then the other thing I need is Flink's fur. I think I needed 3 of these. What were the other things I needed? A lens, I think. What was it? Brandon, what do I need? Craft. Help me craft. Oh, 5 demonite ore. That's right. That's easy. Fight 3 bosses at once, and one of them will be one of the hardest pre-mode ones. Maybe that'll give me a challenge. I don't know. Just need to defeat the wall of flesh probably and move on, but I'm not ready. Oh, going the wrong way too. Oh, it's also in the AM. I need it to be in the PM, I think, for multiple of these bosses to work. Although I could be wrong about that. But let me sleep a few hours through, just in case. So then the clock starts to move pretty quick when you are sleeping. Get it to like 4 maybe or something, I don't know. Sleeping during the day. My character is a night owl, which I can relate to. See if I'm missing anything on the LinkedIn while we're waiting for some time to pass here. Nope. Well, thanks anybody who's tuned in and checked things out on LinkedIn or YouTube. If you're on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment in the bottom and we'll try to respond to those too, but those we probably won't get to those very in a timely fashion, so just be aware of that, but feel free to do it. Alright, slept long enough, whatever. No, give it a couple more hours, which will pass real quick. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the eclectic music mix. We've got some interesting stuff on here. Alright, get it to 4:30 and then I'm gonna move on. I just want it at least close to nighttime. Yep, starting to get a little dusky out here. Alright, there we go. See, there should be some demon altars around here. I need a demon altar in order to craft this item that will summon our Cyclops dude. There should be some around here, but I'm not seeing any right now. I guess I gotta go underground to find one. I should also probably summon a guardian. Alright, there'll be an altar down here somewhere for sure. The question is where? There's some. Alright, so now we can craft our deer thing. And now we can get the heck out of here. And to summon the deer thing, I need to be in the Arctic, which should be easy. So, but to summon the Eater of Worlds, I have to be here. So we're gonna summon the Eater of Worlds real quick with my worm food. Okay. And now I'm gonna work my way over to the ice world. Anytime Eater of Worlds, I don't want him to despawn, so I'm gonna let him show up before I keep moving. Oh, did he despawn? He despawned. Oh, that's aggravating. I was too quick. Alright, I'll go home and grab another. I had another piece of worm food in here, I do believe. Try again. It's being a little weird there. Alright, here we go. Making my way to the edge again. This time I won't. Oh no! I do that a lot, don't I? If you forget to unequip your mirror and then you go to fight something thinking your sword is equipped but your mirror's equipped, then you just teleport away. run right back over yonder. This server is pretty cool, and it's pretty darn reliable, I gotta say. I think the last time I played on it was the last stream I did, and still working great. Alright, this time I'll actually wait for him to show up. Okay, and I think I can coax him over to where I want to be. We'll see, we'll see. He's taking a lot of damage just from my minion, I think. Where'd you go, Eater Worlds? Ah, he despawns if you're not in cursed area. Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess just I can't do them both at once. Unless I could, I would have to like make a cursed area over here that I could summon him in, and then. Well. Yeah. If there was snow adjacent to cursed area, I might be able to do it that way, but there's not. I'll fight the Eye of Cthulhu and I'll fight the Cyclops guy again. He was a fun boss anyway. Alright, so here's the snow land. So I can now fight the dude that you summon with the deer thing. And where's my eye? Okay. Defeat 2 Eyes of Cthulhu tonight. Why not? Oh man. I'm gonna just have to focus on this guy though, because he's the... Deerclops is the tough boss. Cthulhu is just gonna add a little bit extra attack to Deerclops. I'm already taking, holy crap, so much damage. Oh, give me health. This is definitely trickier with the Eye of Cthulhu around than it was last time. His attacks are brutal, the Deerclops. I'll tell you what, if I wasn't pretty maxed out, pre-easy mode, it'd be tough. His hands. Heal up a little just in case. Just keep swinging the sword. Going down, Deerclops. I'm just going full aggro. Alright, well, that was easy enough. Unfortunately, I couldn't fight the Eater Worlds too. That would have definitely added to the challenge. Anyway, well, that's cool. I think I'm going to call it in Terraria with that. A couple of boss fights, you know. Defeated the Old One's army again. I'm looking forward to getting past the Wall of Flesh so I can see what the new Old One's army waves look like and get into hard mode. But anyway. So I think with that I'll just go ahead and probably save and exit from Terraria. But thank you everyone for being here today and checking out the stream. Hopefully you learned a little bit and found another tool in the Underground Nexus that might be of use to you with Visual Studio Code. Super cool stuff. Go download an Underground Nexus instance and try out Visual Studio Code if you want to, or one of the many other tools that I've talked about in any of these other streams that I've done. The other things that I want to say are to go and, you know, check out our website so that you can learn more about the DevSecOps 101 live workshop and hackathon that's coming up at the end of June. I think that yeah, everybody's going to really have a really good time at that. It should be you know, really informative and good networking opportunity. So check that out. Check out our Zero Trust cockpit and the cloud with the Cloud Jitsu program. Join, you know, the DevSecOps Dojo here under, if you go, you know, are at our webpage and you go to Underground Nexus tab, you'll find the Join DevSecOps Dojo button. So that's where you can learn all about how to join our dojo, get involved in our community and all that stuff, and you know, just learn about our other services and stuff here at the website. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it with that. I hope we see you at the end of June, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday. And yeah, go out and make something cool. You know, we're providing tools, and plenty of other people provide tools. So there's no reason not to kind of jump into this stuff and get your feet wet if it sounds interesting at all to you. So thanks again for being here. I'm Jordan. I will see you guys next time. Bye.